Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
We on lockdown, just like before, Every other weekend, lockdown some more, Freedom March, Rodney Monker, about to do his thing and address the country concerns. Lockdown, baby, this is powerful. Lockdown, baby, with Rodney Monker. Lockdown, baby, this is powerful. Lockdown, baby.
On the new bird. In the mainland, there's better research. We have the law.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Thursday, the 22nd of May, 2025, and you are on the clock with Erin Greene for a show that I have been waiting on for months and months and months. I'm very excited to have this guest in studio and this subject matter on the table. You heard the song we opened with. That'll give you a sense of what we're talking today. We're talking music. We're talking musical history, the history of the Bahamas, and the history of music in the Bahamas with Professor Krista Walks Francis. I want to say, just at this moment, a listener messaged me today and said, hey, I heard on the news Munker is getting a state-recognized funeral or some sort of state-recognized funeral. I flipped through the pages of the paper this morning briefly. I haven't seen anything yet. It may be on the audio, the news, may have been on ZNS or television news last night. So I had to include Munker on today's list. Why? Because when you telling the history, when you documenting the history of a thing, of a place, of a time, you got to include everything, whether you like it or not, right? If the individual or the thing that they produced, be it a piece of technology, a song, a new idea, right? We can't just squeeze them out of the landscape, invisibilize them because we don't like the individual that produced it or the individual themselves, right? That is extremely problematic. In the same way, we can't invisibilize parts of people that we want to honor or memorialize. You got to tell the whole truth there. And then we go back to what the old folks used to tell us when we were children: don't do anything in the dark you don't want to come out to the light. If you don't want it to be documented, don't do it. Right? And so we accept that if we are to honor people, that we must expose the fullness of those people. It's as simple as that. So that song was Rodney Munker featuring Solo Made, Lockdown Baby. And it is included, it is documented in this music history anthology that we're going to delve into today. Today marks the beginning of a music series with Professor Krista Walks Francis about the book that she produced. As we get the show started, I want to remind you guys of the Guardian Media Group Cruise Giveaway Promotion. Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel want to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 people to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part. No visa required. That's right, no visa required. You have 4 ways to enter and 4 ways to win. Fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian or listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or follow us on Facebook and Instagram or make travel. Entry deadline is June 27th, 2025. drawing on July 4th, 2025. So pack your bags, get ready to soak up the sun and feel that ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Brought to you by the Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included. Good morning. Every time I think about this cruise, I think about how the Bahamian creative space should be creating albums for cruise ships. We should be creating anthologies of Bahamian music and Caribbean music and fusions of contemporary music and Bahamian and Caribbean cultural music. We should be in charge of that for all the cruise ship. And then we should send our artists out to the locations where the cruises stop. And we should collaborate to create an anthology of cruise music. That's what we should do. And think about it. What a way to market. Because while somebody is on a X cruise in Alaska and the sun comes out, and then somebody pays Lord Cody and the Coralites Island in the Sun, and the people, it wiggles its way into their brain. At some point, somebody can say, hey, let's go see when X cruise line is cruising to the Bahamas, and let's make sure we on that cruise. Everything right here waiting to pop up out of the ground. We just gotta tend the ground. We gotta fertilize it. We gotta rake it up. We gotta keep it clean. We gotta observe the trees and where the leaves fall. That's all we gotta do. The things can pop up on their own. Yeah. Anyway, as you can see, I am super excited about today's show. Let's get right into it. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
You can pull the mic a little closer to you.
Okay.
And introduce yourself, please.
Well, my name is Professor Crystal Watts-Francis. I've been teaching at UB in the English department, actually, for about 20 years. And I recently published this 3-volume series on my passion, my research interest, Bahamian music, and its international appeal. So,
awesome.
I'm excited to be here.
I am excited to be here. All leading up to the Golden Jubilee.
Yes.
I've been throwing the seeds out. We need a musical anthology. We need a history of music in the Bahamas, a history of Bahamian music to present to ourselves primarily.
Yes.
And then to share with the world, and then to be used as content and context for marketing the Bahamas to ourselves.
Right.
And
First and then
right.
to others.
There's a quote in the book by Eris Munker.
Yes, I love that quote. You can go ahead and read it.
I can see if I could find it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could find it, but it's in the section talking about island music.
Yes.
Music about islands. And he says, if you want to know about the Bahamas, you got to go through Cat Island first.
Yes.
I mean, that was just beautiful. Before we get there, I mean, Eris was an inspiration and a muse to many, many people in the country. But you had a particular muse, because I wanted to ask you, why the anthology? And then when I looked inside, I see the dedication to your father,
Yes.
who is a mellophile.
Yes.
So I could understand the why. My father was also a mellophile. He had records stacked up even when his record player broke.
Yes.
He had to have them around him. So I imagine the why is because it's within you.
It's within me. The seeds were sown by my father, Cyril Walks, Sr., and he not only played the music for me, he would actually tell me who the artist was and tell me facts about the artist as he knew, and encourage me to remember that Bahamian music is important.
All right.
Above all others. He collected all kinds of music, but in particular, Bahamian music.
All right. Now, caller, I imagine you're excited to talk to the professor. Topic centered. I'm going to let you go, and then we can get into the book. Good morning, caller.
Hey, great, sure. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How you do?
Well, I have a question for your guest, right?
Yes.
Gino D or KB, which artist was the best?
Okay.
Second thing, Phil Stubbs or Elon Moxie?
Oh, boy.
Which musicians was the best?
Okay, hold on. I have to write it down.
Hold on, the third one is a good one. The old Ronnie Butler or the new version of Ronnie Butler? Which one was better?
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a dangerous one.
Old Ronnie.
Ooh,
Because I
that's
was a young
dangerous one.
person, but I gotta say, old Ronnie is the best. Even though,
Ooh.
Father Fox
Yeah.
and Bohemian Trey and Ronnie Butler, that boy Katif, that's a sweet song. Okay, so old Ronnie versus new Ronnie,
Yeah, Phil Stubbs or Elon Moxie,
and the first one.
Gino D or KB.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so first of all, we don't battle each other, right? But I appreciate the framing of the question. Thank you, caller. I can let you answer first.
Yes, caller. I would definitely never try to say who's the best. In my book, they are all the best, and that's why they're all included in my work and my research. And they're friends of mine. I interviewed them. I talked to them. I told them what I was doing about this project. So even Ronnie Butler, before his demise, came to one of my classes at UB and spoke to my students about Bahamian music. He signed my copy of his earliest record, Ronnie Butler Steps Out of the Big Bamboo. So they are all my friends, and I think all of them are great.
Yeah. It's okay. So watch this. Old Ronnie versus new Ronnie. Old Ronnie. As a young person who like new things, I have to say though, Ronnie and the Ramblers. I saw an album cover. It's in the book. And is it the Rainbow Club or it's
No, it wouldn't have been the Rainbow Club. That
What do you
would have been. Ronnie was at the Big Bamboo. So many places he was at. But I think I know the one you're talking about.
All right, I in the wrong book. There are 3 volumes to the anthology while a professor looks up that information. The first volume is The International Appeal and Influence of the Bahamas on Global Music. The second volume is Music in the Bahamas, Artists, Genres, and Themes. And the third volume is Bahamian Gospel Music Legends and Evolving Church Music Traditions in the Bahamas. So you found the pages? Okay.
It's at the Nassau Beach Hotel.
At the Nassau Beach Hotel.
Yes.
So one thing I found looking through the list of bands, you had artists that played with multiple bands and sometimes
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, they didn't have any boundaries in terms of, okay, I am with this particular band, so I can't be with another band. They moved interchangeably without any problem, it seems. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, let's go talk competition.
Okay.
There's a section in volume 2 called Grand Bahama Bands.
Okay.
I can't do Grand Bahama Bands and don't do all the other Family Island bands. And then when I looked at the list, I thought, no. Grand Bahama Bands is here for a reason, because the number of bands and musicians coming out of Grand Bahama rivaled, if not exceeded, the number of bands in New Providence.
Absolutely, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a wonderful section on Grand Bahama.
That's page 36, 35, 36.
All right.
Thereabouts.
So, 3 volumes, The International Appeal and Influence, there we go, thank you, of the Bahamas on Global Music. Volume 2, Music in the Bahamas, Artists, Genres, and Themes. Volume 3, Bahamian Gospel Music Legends and Evolving Church Music Traditions in the Bahamas. Let's go back just very briefly to the meat, the bones of putting the book together.
Yes.
Like, how did you compose it? How long did it take? And give us a sense of your sources, people, places, archives.
Good question. It took about 24 years, just about half of my life.
So you started when you
I
were 15?
started this work in 2000, in the year 2000, when I first went off to college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So-
Now, were you inspired by the distance? Because when I was abroad, I
Yeah.
searched and scoured for Bahamian content.
You want things that are going to make you feel connected to home. And so that's when I started looking around, and I saw that some of these albums that my father used to have were available for sale online. Sometimes they would give you information about a record store, a physical record store that you could go to. And I started there, just trying to find the ones that I was familiar with at first, and then realizing that there were many, many, many others. Every time I got a particular album, it would lead me to something else and another artist that I'd never heard about.
Yep.
And I just kept going. And so eventually it bloomed into a full-fledged collecting fever, I should call it. Because many times I'd be like, okay, for the month, how much of it am I going to spend on these records? Like, I really became obsessed with it. And the more I collected, it started to trip me out because I didn't realize that there was so many artists that I'd never heard mentioned before. Even my father didn't know some of these people, apparently, because he never mentioned them and you never heard them spoken about. But yet here they were, revealing themselves to me through these records.
Absolutely. So I did my research for music on YouTube. That's my primary source.
Okay.
What I like about YouTube is like it'll play a song and then it'll have like recommended in the side.
Yes.
And so every once in a while you find a Bahamian song that some foreigner, somebody in Alaska, like I saw somebody on Mars has uploaded almost all of Tony McKay's albums. But you have to weave through song to song
Yes.
to find them, right?
Yes.
Like the way that the algorithm connects them is a little weird.
Yes.
But there's just so much stuff out there.
There is, but the point is, you asked me how did this come about?
Yes, ma'am.
This would not have come about if I did a collection, because later on, a lot of the artists were telling me that they lost, their albums or they misplaced them. A lot of people said, "Oh, I just threw those away the other day," because people are thinking, well, those are outdated and they're no longer relevant, so they just threw them out. So if I didn't have my own collection to start with, I wouldn't be here today with this collection.
Absolutely. Producer, play this third song on the playlist for me, please. This is a song by Duke Errol. Now, I'm going to need your help because I don't know the name of the song. It was not listed online,
Oh, okay.
but there's a site that just documents music. And it was listed as Duke Errol /digest. Here we go.
Was too large for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny, weighed more. It was bought on the morn of the day that he was born. It was always his treasure and pride, but it stopped short, never to go. The old man died.
Okay.
So dear Royal Bahamian Commonwealth of the Bahamas government, I ain't never beg you for nothing in life except to keep the power on. But let's put that aside. That's old talk.
Yeah.
I ain't never beg you all for nothing in life. Give me the job of finding all the Bahamian music out there in the interwebs. Give me that job, please. I need a stipend. I need a couple little piece of equipment. I could use a beige computer. I could figure out how to use the beige computer. I don't need high-tech things.
Yes.
That's what I want to do with the rest of my life. Because this song is just out there. And if
Yeah.
I tell you I saved the site, I can't remember it right now because it's just a random something.
Yes.
And this person is collecting world music, all kinds of tracks.
Yeah.
And just documenting
And this
it.
one is just dropped in there. Yeah, that happened to me before too, where you just get a random reference. The other thing that I had to do with producing this collection is I had to sort out which songs the artist actually originally composed, as opposed to those that they were just covering. That's important as well.
Covers.
Because this may be just a cover.
Yeah.
But his original songs, and on the LP, they always listed it like this was written by Duke Errol. They made sure to specify that information. So that's
Absolutely.
important as well.
Okay, why these three themes? And then why compose the volume 1, 2, and 3?
That was actually a suggestion by the publishing company.
Okay.
They thought that if I tried to put all of this together in one volume, it would be a tome. It would be something that was so big that
Too heavy to
people
carry.
would be intimidated to read it.
Yeah.
So they actually suggested to me, why don't you try to subdivide your research into pieces that are, digestible for a reader at a particular time. And so each one of these, although I would prefer for people to read all of them, they actually can stand alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, another question I have before we get into the meat of the book. Which chapter and or volume is your favorite? Which one excited you the most? And which chapter or volume do you think Bahamians will be most interested in?
Boy, that's a tough one.
Because I can tell you right from the break, I think it's number 3 for Bahamians, the gospel music and church traditions. in the Bahamas.
Now that one really excited me a lot. Because what caused that to come about was not only just documenting the Bahamian artists that we are familiar with in terms of the gospel music tradition, but I found out that there were a number of churches that produced music, CDs, that we never knew about. And I started off with Mount Tabor.
Okay.
They had a CD. So I just sat down one day and I thought, I wonder if there are any other churches who did this, or if this is the only one. How would I go about finding that information? And I came up with just a practical thing. I'll just drive around churches in the major denominations and ask, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And for just about every one of those that I asked, I found out that they did produce
An album.
an album.
Okay, and so in the book, I'm just going to flip through the book quickly.
Yeah.
We have the Pearly Gate Singers.
Yes.
Original group members, Elder John Roll, Elder Israel Ferguson, Elder Simeon Dawkins, Elder David Dawkins, the Spiritual Knights, the Elevations. Hold on. Who that man is? Hold on. when you looking at pictures and you know all these faces?
Yes.
Group members in the Elevations, Elder Preston S. Wallace, Elder Simeon C. Wallace, Brother Wellington Brannon, Brother Thomas Swain, Brother Winfield Dawkins, Victor Gardner, David Forbes, Terry Rogers, Harold Barney.
Yeah.
The Love Singers, the Gospel Impressions, the Original Jubilee Singers, the Redemption Gospel Singers, the Sensational Sons of Joy, the Curry Sisters, the
Yes.
Swain Sisters, and then Grand Bahama Gospel Groups. Producer, let's go to the Grand Bahama Group.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. I have my housekeeper love the Cooling Waters.
Everybody loves the cooling
Yeah,
waters.
I love the Cooling Waters. The Gospel Supernatural. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning once again, Miss Greene. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How you do?
Hey, right, ask your guest, right? How come historically, right, that Bahamians don't support Bahamian music? Second question, right, I want to ask, right, very most important, right? How come the hotels don't really support Bahamians and give them jobs to perform in the hotels? That don't make no sense. Second thing, right? How come most Bahamian artists, right, they actually die broke, busted, and can't be trusted? Most Bahamian artists die broke.
Okay.
We don't support each other.
All right. Okay, so let's start with the third one. We need to strengthen the mechanisms that exist and used to exist to ensure that artists are participating in the that we have a global standard operating in the Bahamas. And so we have United Artists Bahamas Union, and we have BMU, Bahamas Entertainers and Musicians Union. And I know UABU is advocating in that space to strengthen the mechanisms to ensure that we have systems where artists can be paid, and that both local and international, right, companies, corporations understand what the protocol is, and they're also trying to get it codified in law more explicitly to ensure that that happens. So that's the third. The first, well, I could tell you, we don't play it because we can't find it. Which you know exists. And then some of the songs, like, you see this play Bloody? Bloody is one of the best performers we have in the country right now. Bloody ignite any party, any space. Bloody has very little music online, easily accessible, right? He just did a new song, Peace in the Valley, that I wanted to play for the show we had talking about what's going on in the Valley Boys, because there won't be any peace in the Valley until there's peace in the Valley. And I think that's true, but I couldn't find it to play it, right? And so that's a part of the issue. We don't play it because it's not easily accessible in the systems that we've created for enjoying music. That is like the CDs. Do y'all remember you could go to Hitspot?
Yeah.
Do y'all know you could go to Hitspot with your MP3 player, whatever little new device you use in your car, and get your Bahamian music, put on your MP3 player? Most people don't know you could do that. Mm-hmm. And Hitspot, thank you for doing that little special y'all did with the radio thing. So people could listen to local radio right? Like, that's a part of the mechanism. Mm-hmm. So
I did it. Some of the songs people don't even know about. So I was hoping that, if they read my anthology and found out about some of these songs, it would stir up a curiosity and they'd go looking. But now the only thing is, a lot of these artists have to make the music accessible, like you said, digitally, because if I didn't have a record player, I wouldn't be able to access most of this.
Absolutely. Producer, we can play 2 songs now. Play the one by Maxwell Roma with no title, and then play the one by Jay Mitchell at the bottom. So, Maxwell Roma.
Yes.
And the Badscombe Band.
Yes.
Now, I know I seen this name before, Maxwell Roma and the Badscombe Band.
Yes.
I didn't know this boy was Bahamian.
A lot of people didn't know that.
Listen, y'all.
I'm from Cat Island, by the way.
Y'all listen to this.
Here I go again. Even though I know how it might end. Rushing into love, all starry-eyed again. I've been left standing, waiting at the altar 3 or 4 times, some more before. I still believe in love.
Okay, if you want to know what was wrong with your granddaddy, or even your daddy, all these by them were lover boys. All of them was in love. All of them could sing a tune. And if they couldn't sing lead, they could sing backup.
Yes, yes.
They know how to harmonize. And that's why all us get swing. That's why you get swing by a pot-belly politician with a fat neck back. Because he could swoon and croon. So look at him. So Maxwell Roma.
And he's still alive today.
Yes.
Living in New York. But let me tell you how I found out he was Bahamian. I saw an old advertisement for a record company that was introducing him to the public. Mm-hmm. It just had the name Maxwell Roma. It didn't say anything about the Bahamas. So I said, Roma is a Bahamian name. Yeah. I wonder if there's any connection. And I started looking, and then I found out where he posted on YouTube to his home of Cat Island. Uh-huh. For a visit after being away for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And he was showing this house where he was born in the Bight and all. And I said, okay, now I got you. You are Bahamian. Mm-hmm. Right? And then I started to look up more stuff about him. Then I found out about the Badscombe Band. I found out about some other things that he did. So a lot of times it's just looking at the name and doing a bit of research.
To put it together.
And then you put it together. I did that with quite a few of these artists.
Absolutely. Producer, let's play that song by Jay Mitchell. Also, text to ICU. Smokey 007 is in the book.
Yes.
I saw him in the book. I just wanted them to hear you say, we haven't forgotten Smokey 07. And the text says that they feel like Smokey should have gotten the same kind of shine as Ronnie Butler, right? Like, that we don't play his music as much as we do Ronnie.
Yeah.
Producer, whenever you're ready, and Smokey 007's name is Mr. Leroy McKenzie. Right. As we wait for the producer, it's right below the list, I think. Kermit, there we go. I wanted to go through the table of contents.
Since I met you, baby, there will be softer. I said I could get you in a fine to calm my soft inside. There was something going on.
this song does something to me that I can't explain because I grew up with world music from all over the place, right, at a young age. And there's nothing that tickles and delights me more. In fact, Kermit, if you have the song by Blair and Casper, play that one too, please, right now. Than a Bahamian covering a song, a popular song, something that hit the billboard hard, and then when the Bahamian covers it, they do it just as well or even better.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost some of the focus on the magic and talent we have because we don't see that as a talent. Maybe some people see that as a cop-out, like you're just covering a song.
Yeah.
But in terms of go on.
But one of the things that I wanted Bahamians to be aware of is that a lot of our music has also been covered by international artists.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
instance, Dry Bread released a song called Yama. That song was covered by Fish, a UK group,
Yeah.
right? They heard it, they came to the Bahamas, they heard it, and they went back with it. And to this day, some people still think that Fish actually originated that song, but it was Dry Bread song.
Yama.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to hold my mouth. Let's go to the phone line quickly. Good morning, caller.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you? Sorry for the wait.
The name of your guest is?
Professor Crystal Walks Francis.
Okay, ma'am. How do you feel about, I can call the radio station because they're closed down, Island FM closing. You know, Island FM only played Bahamian music,
Mm-hmm.
and that radio station just closed down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we need now, we have about 13 to 14 radio stations. We should have something in it. I don't know how y'all feel about this. Each one of them playing at least 2 to 3 hours of Bahamian music per day. It doesn't have to be all at one time. But at least let's promote. I've never been to Jamaica, but I've saw videos and things of people being in Jamaica, in the airport, in the restaurant, and all that. You don't hear no Bahamian music or no calypso music or those. Everything is just reggae. But when you go into the hotels here, they playing all kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
How do the tourists could have a Bahamas experience or Bahamian experience?
Yep.
Listening to the same music that they're hearing at home.
I with you. And if they're going to listen to the same music they hear at home, we're going to cover it Bahamian style.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we could.
The lady is on. She's on to something. She sounds like she knows she ain't gassing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She's on to something.
Absolutely.
But let's see if we could try Wake Up Island FM or a radio station like an Island FM. Just play Bahamian music.
24/7.
Yes, ma'am.
We have the catalog for it. We have the content.
We have enough Bahamian music for that, man.
So there's a website, there's a web space. It's called BahamianOrNothing.com, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my TV be on a lot too.
Yeah, 24/7.
Yeah, and on Sunday now.
Yeah, but you know,
That's good.
what we need to complement it is there also has to be conversation with the music.
Yes.
We have to talk about the artist, talk about the era, talk about the genre,
Yes.
to make it
How you
real.
interviewing
Yeah.
this lady here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That new Bahamian radio station that is going to come back. I'm sure it's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
They could have talk shows just entertaining, just talking about Bahamian music.
For that.
You know, and I think, Miss Green, you'll be a good host on that.
Listen, write ZNS and say, as soon as the Guardian give me permission, I come in to do it.
No, but I don't want it done on ZNS, you know.
That's okay, I got you.
I want a private station because then ZNS thing can start pushing in
I feel you.
the political thing and this thing and that thing. I want a private station, like how Island FM was.
Absolutely.
Privately owned.
I got you.
Okay, I got to continue listening, but that lady is on to something.
Absolutely. Professor Crystal Walks Francis. Producer, if you get if you could slip it in Lionel Lotmore election in 68.
Oh, yeah.
And then we could go to the next caller.
New York is red, honey, but I'm feeling bad. It's election time, Sherry, back in Nassau town. You hear my people all day, be all away. Yeah, give me back my jacket, I'm going don't stray. Election in 68. Good God, that's what my previous say. Election in 68.
Thank you, producer. And so, right, sense of space, sense of location, sense of time, right? PLP all the way. What that meant in 68 is different from what it means today. And we need to be able to create a space to be able to examine that song.
And not just that song. There's a whole chapter in here where I talk about Bahamian musicians and how they documented historical events in their songs. That seemed to be like a very important type of tradition where something would happen, and sometimes it was international events they would document.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times it was local things.
And that's where Rodney Monker's song comes into the list for COVID-19
COVID songs.
Documentation.
Yes.
Let's go to the caller quickly. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Ms. Greene, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning, good morning.
Excellent show, and we need to talk more about our culture more.
Yes.
Right, because I really believe we are losing it, right? Growing up in the Bahamas, that song which you just said, was just the rhythm of that.
That song just now. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Growing up in the Bahamas, walking down Bay Street in the surrounding areas, right, you could always hear that type of rhythm coming out of protruding out of restaurants or wherever tourists them were, right? But today, it seems like, we are losing our culture because we have so much talented Bahamians in this country and with so much, and our music is so unproblematic, because you can't think too much violence listening to Bahamian music, right? Like how a lot of other genres of music, they have the potential of, pushing out that negative, violent.
Yeah, I appreciate what you said, and the way that we talk about it is different.
Right. But I just want to say, I believe we can need to go, at some point we can have to legislate what plays on our radios simply because the protection of the culture needs to be protected. And when a nation is being allowed to grow with not hearing themselves and hearing others, then we cannot be surprised when the nation start falling back or falling on to what they continue to hear because they're not hearing themselves.
Thank you. Brethren, thank you. Blessings. Producer, I really want you to play that one by Blair and Casper. Right? That's just me, though. Now, I give you a whole playlist. If you feel inspired to play something different, play something different. Because when you see Leon Taylor and the Roosters at the Montague Hotel, right? Paul Ritchie with the Sweet Exorcist band.
Yes.
Paul Ritchie's a guitarist and bassist.
Yeah, he was known mostly for real estate.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that he was actively involved in the music scene, but he was.
Have albums. And this boy bad on them strings. He's super talented.
Yeah.
And then what I also appreciate is like the 60s and the 70s, it was not just an expansion of Bahamian artists into other genres, right?
Yes,
like the Bascom Band, Maxwell Romer, the Bascom Band, Leon Taylor, this Memphis Train. These are disco, funk, soul, and they are contemporary.
Yeah.
You if you turn on your radio in the 60s and 70s, this is contemporary music. All right, producer, whenever you're ready. After seeing Prince Charles and his Royal Cats, I did a little searching, and I found a whole album.
Yeah.
More of Prince Charles and his Royal Cats.
I have all of them in my collection.
The first song is Freeport?
Yes.
Dear Grand Bahama, we have not, maybe we have forgotten you, right? Like maybe that's the point.
A lot of these people are forgotten, and I didn't want their work to just go down in vain and nobody ever heard their name.
Yeah.
That was another thing that motivated me to do this. A lot of these people have never been heard of before.
Right, and so we know T-Connection.
Yeah.
But did we know that these bands were Here we go.
Where the dawn and the girls are waiting. Yes, they're waiting just for me. Whoa, Freeport. Oh, Freeport. Where the gentle trade winds blow. Once I hold her heart in my arms again.
Thank you, producer. So that is Freeport by Prince Charles and his Royal Cats off the album More of Prince Charles and his Royal Cats. If you just put that in on Facebook, on YouTube. Producer, let's go to the phone line quickly. There we go. Good morning, caller.
Hey, pleasant. Good morning, Ms. Greene. Thank you very much.
Blessings.
Ms. Greene, quickly, I know you got to go quick. Ms. Greene, you always make mention that though Sparky always coming with history and thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Greene, let me tell you something. I am surprised that most of the people in my age set don't get involved with these talk shows and call in about a lot of the history that I could say I remember from time back when me and people like Bremen and all of us were younger guys. The way this country was so wonderfully and comfortably run, and the stories that we know that's so beautiful to be told, that most of these young people in the College of the Bahama, University of the Bahamas, don't have no idea.
None. We don't know nothing.
That could be told.
Mm-hmm. We don't.
They keep their mouths shut up.
Yeah, look here. Thank you, Sparky. I want to thank you so much. So 2 ideas from that. Nuri, we can do a history show where we have a theme and we got one or two people in studio, and then we invite people to add to the story. Tell us what you know about that event. Because the adventures you all used to have on the Fort Hill, that's why Corinne Mitchell wouldn't let me off the side porch. And you all wouldn't tell the stories. I so mad. I mean, I agree though. You peep some and you keep some. Right? Like you get peep some, and like Father Brown said when asked to relate to the public his sentiments about learning about his origins, right? Like whose father was, all of that. And he said, I did not want to talk about those things while my mother was still alive. Like I just, out of respect for her, I didn't want to. You understand? You could peep some and you could keep some, but the adventures, y'all, and the music, the soundtracks. So we listening to some of these songs. Some of these songs are the literal retelling of adventures.
Yes.
Things these boy them was getting up to. The women's them. In fact, Maxwell Roma have a song called Woman Connoisseur. I could not play it on the radio today. When you listen to that song for the first time, do not listen with your children. It's not sexually explicit, but it does have adult themes in it. It's also hilarious, right?
Yeah.
You get a good sense of who we are. All right, so Volumes 1, 2, and 3. Volume 1, The International Appeal and Influence of the Bahamas on Global Music. Volume 2, Music in the Bahamas, Artists, Genres, and Themes. Volume 3, Bahamian Gospel Music, Legends and Evolving Church Music Traditions in the Bahamas. So we're going to go we're in Volume 2, Table of Contents. Part 2, which is Bahamian Music by Genre. Chapter 5, a thematic categorization of Bahamian rake and scrape, tourist tourism. I like how you put that separate.
Yes.
Tourist tourism.
Yeah.
Slavery, Bahamian folkways, peculiarities, and identity. Homecoming festivals and regattas. Yeah, we got plenty song. That's a theme in and of itself. Cultural nostalgia. Is that Osam? Okay. Fishing, fishermen. Eyes a boatman. Bonefish foley. Bahamian women. But y'all, and let me tell you all something. George Simonette, you let the woman give you 8 babies. You mad? I mean, it's really a song about economics.
Yes.
Socioeconomics and the politics of the time, the socioeconomic politics of the time. Children, I can never forget Duke Hanna's song, Chinese Children. I can never forget that song, ever. Also, Duke Hanna, I have on my list today, Duke Hanna and his Caribbeans, Delia Gone. I don't know if you can play that one. That's the first time I hear the lyrics clearly, and I know what I'm singing.
Yes.
Junkanoo, again, a thematic categorization of Bahamian music. Junkanoo Christmas tributes. Phil Stubbs have plenty tribute song.
Many. Yes.
Local and international events in history. Bahamian independence. Elkin 360, you're going to go down in history. Traditional songs, Soti and solidarity, and land crabs.
You didn't know there was so many themes, right?
Right, like I sitting there thinking, I had to zoom right to land crabs because I'm thinking, what is this theme about land crab? It's literally about land crab.
Yeah.
And then you realize, but that's how important picking and catching crab is
Very
to
important.
Bahamians.
Very important.
Historically, culturally, economically, contemporarily.
Yes.
This is a very big part of the archipelago.
Yes.
Right? I felt so proud when I picked my first crab out the pen. And I get bite and I did not cry. I was with big women. I swear I was not crying in front of them big women. I had to prove my mettle as a Bahamian woman.
Yes.
I did cry afterwards in my car by myself, but you're allowed to cry by yourself.
Yes, and this picture is actually a picture that I took of crabs in my mother's crab pen because she's from Cat Island. So that's a big thing for us as well. So these are all these are not white crab. These are black crabs.
All right.
And you see all the beautiful colors there.
Producer, let's I want to close out the show with as many songs as possible. Pick something to play while I read this lyric from the song Pongo Le Pongo by Kai Gottlieb. Kai Gottlieb is a European descent Bahamian, right?
Yes, white Bahamian.
Yeah. He's colorful and humor in his
Yes.
music. This song is called these lyrics are from Pongo Le Pongo by Kai Gottlieb. Pongo Le Pongo, my Bahamian pork chop. I call her crab fat. She really likes that. She born in Dundas Town, licking stick and combo. Right? Like, okay, first of all, what does licking stick and combo mean?
I have no idea.
We can find that out. We're putting that on the list. We can find out what hot dog sauce mean and what licking stick and combo mean. Here we go.
Cursed him such a wicked curse that he swore to take her life. Till you're gone, one more round, yes you're gone. On Monday he was arrested, on Tuesday he was tried. The jury brought him guilty, the judge said 99 years your time. Till you're gone, one more round, till you're gone.
All right, let's try squeeze one more song in there as I read some text. Great show, Lady Green and guests. Thanking you. The Bahamas music is truly awesome and wonderful. We need our music and culture demonstrated throughout every facet of Bahamian culture and experiences. From the mayor of Grand Bahama. That's why Campus is going to be. We're going to put the playwrights in the room with the musicians and the historians, and then we're going to come up with all kinds of new themes and products and productions from that. Thank you, Texas. I deputize you to be Minister of Cultural Heritage, Music and Heritage. Make sure give recognition to Funky Nassau by the beginning of the end. Yes, the beginning of the end. Biosis now.
Yes.
Woo. Thank you, Texter. Good morning. I agree with the caller about Smokey 007 not getting enough or same amount of airtime like all other Bahamian artists. Please play Leroy Cleveland McKenzie on a regular. He is one of the best. I got you, Texter. Hi, Miss Green. I think it's a good idea to collect Bahamian music. You can create a show once each month that you can name. Where are they now as you play their music? I want to check out the group Fame. Fame, F-A-A-M-E, is also
F-A-A-M-E,
documented
yes.
in the book. Okay, now this song we is going to play as we closing out the show is I Wish I Were With the One I Love by Cleophas R.E. Adley and Joanne Callender. Because in the book, we also recognize our jazz musicians,
Yes.
our classical exotic
Every genre
musicians.
is represented. Rap.
Absolutely.
Everything.
If you could hear it, you could pull it up. Rest in peace, Cleophas.
I wish I were with the one I love. alone with her on this moonlit night, sharing our love and our joy and dream.
Absolutely. Thank you, producer. Thank you. As we close out the show, Professor, you shall be back. Let's give a shout out to your cousin who brought you here, the
Yes,
chef.
Wayne Munker.
Yes,
My
yes,
cousin.
yes. I want to say thank you for making this introduction. It is my pleasure. And you heard the texters and the callers. We're going to continue this conversation. I'll let you all know when she's coming back on well in advance so you could book the time. Bohemian music is just something else.
Yes, it is.
Right? And just think about this. Blind Blake, one of the first gangster rappers of all time. Jones, you better leave my gal alone. He didn't just perform for royalty. He created music for royalty.
Yeah.
Because they can tell you love and love alone caused King Edward to leave the throne, but that ain't true. And Blind Blake helped them tell that story. Anyway, we are all out of time. Professor, thank you for joining us. Professor Crystal Walks Francis, you're going to be back soon, next month, or?
I'd love to be back next month. Yes.
Absolutely. We're going to try and do this at least once a month, if not twice a month. And when you come again, you bring a playlist, I bring a playlist.
Sounds great.
And
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
I'm excited already.
Again, the musical anthology by Professor Crystal Walks Francis, volumes 1, 2, and 3. The international appeal and influence of the Bahamas on global music, music in the Bahamas, artists, genres, and themes, Bahamian gospel music legends, and evolving church music traditions in the Bahamas.
Available at Logos.
Available at Logos, awesome. Remember, the British Library, the National Library of Wales, the National Library of Scotland, the University of Oxford Library, and the Cambridge University Library already have their copies. Let that inspire you to get one of your own. Get it for the family. Put it next to the Bible. Below it, but next to it. You have a great day, guys. We're all out of time. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.